How's it going, comrades? And today I'm going to give you my strong and handsome non-negotiables, which are the bare minimum things that you need to be doing to stop feeling like a sack of shit, start adding plates on the bar, and lose the gut where the fat rolls has actually got their own ecosystem growing inside them. I'm all for setting expectations accordingly, and you may not have ambitions to be Mr. Olympia or deadlift 500 kilos, but even if you're maybe just looking at just maybe losing a stone or two or body weight and go from being the weakest guy in the gym to not the weakest guy in the gym, these are the things that you're probably going to have to do no matter what, and without doing these things it's going to be really hard for you to get any form of tangible results. This is going to be in the context of training as a whole, but I'm also going to tie this sort of into the coaching side of things, because some people will hear me say stuff like that about setting expectations and effectively working around your parameters, but on occasion some people sort of think that that means that they need to do literally next to fuck all, and again, it doesn't really work like that, and there is still some of the things I consider the absolute bare minimum that you need to be doing. Don't go and look at the coaching inquiry form that's linked in the description below just now. Wait to hear what I've got to say first, and then if you like the sound of it, then you can go down and have a little look at that. But in the meantime, you do have some freebies down there, like my free gain splaining guide and also my free grapplers training program if you're somebody that does a grappling sport, which I do, which is why I've made a program for those.
Ooh, you're hard.
And if you want more daily tidbits of information and just unbelievable content, Instagram is down there too. Go and give that a follow. Starting off on the training front, and the bare minimum things you need to be doing with that, very simply, you need to be doing your training sessions consistently. Doesn't matter what your program is, whether it be 2 days a week in the gym, 3 days a week, 5 days a week, if you're splitting up gym and cardio sessions, like, I don't really care. You're split and your routine can be whatever it needs to be to suit you and whatever you want to do. You need to be just going and actually doing your sessions. Without the continuity of training week after week after week, you're never going to be able to actually start building strength and muscle, and it's just going to be two stop start and a total waste of time. And when it comes to picking your split or the number of days a week that you're doing, it's why I always say, don't just pick what you think sounds good or what you see somebody else do. Do what's realistic for you, that you know 100% every single week, I'm going to be able to do 3 days a week or 4 days a week or whatever it is. So there should never be any excuses for you missing sessions consistently. The odd one here and there, something happens, comes up, cool. Obviously that happens to us all, but it shouldn't be happening like on a weekly basis. So attending the gym in accordance with your program, so bloody simple. The second one is simple to an extent, and that is needing to make sure that you are progressively overloading and doing more. Probably sick to death of hearing me say this, but if you are not going in the gym and progressing and lifting more weight or doing more reps or doing more off something, genuinely, please just stop going. It's a total waste of time. Go and find another hobby to do. Go and play darts or tiddlywinks or dominoes or something, because it's just not worth the time and effort you hauling your arse to the gym and doing a workout where you're just pick up the same weights over and over and over again. That's about as hard as doing any of those activities that I mentioned.
Shite.
If you want your muscles to grow and get stronger, you need to give them a reason to grow and get stronger, and you're never going to build any new muscle when you just stop progressing the weight. I understand sometimes you maybe feel like you're at your limit, and it's a technical thing from a programming point of view or a technique point of view, and you've just hit a limit, but most people just train within themselves and are just pussies when they train in the gym. And if you do that, again, it's pointless. You need to be doing more, because you're just never going to just stimulate any sort of muscle growth or make any sort of strength adaptation. Doesn't need to be add 20 kilos to the bar every week. It can literally be 2.5 kilos. It can be one more rep. Like, it doesn't need to be much, but just as long as over time you are doing more, that's fine. And you need to be willing to do that rather than just going in and just doing the same. And I've told the story on here before about the guy who signed up for me and literally just went a month just basically copy and pasting the same weights that he did over and over and over again, and that got him absolutely fucking nowhere, and it will the same for you too. When it comes to your nutrition, it's probably slightly hard to answer in terms of like what the priority needs to be, because it ultimately depends on where you are now and what you want to achieve. So these things aren't in any particular order. of importance, but you effectively have to do both of them. Whatever one comes first will be down to your own situation. Got to have a high protein diet, because without protein you are going to just basically not build any muscle, you're not going to recover from training, you're not going to fill yourself up and feel satiated with your food, and it's going to make you just eat more. And the odds are, if you are eating a low protein diet, you're probably just eating an overall shit quality diet, junk food, crisps, sweets, all that bullshit.
Brother,
Getting protein in should be the absolute fundamental staple of your nutrition, and when you do get an adequate amount of protein in, that probably takes care of about 80% of your nutrition, and from there it's only the final few little things, your calorie amounts, your carbs, fats, all that type of thing, only going to require small tinkers.
oh, behave.
The sort of optimal amount of protein that you should be aiming to get would be 2 kilos for every... Oh, I fucked it up again.
Uh-oh, retard alert!
2 grams for every kilogram of body weight. So if you're 80 kilos, you should be aiming for about 160 over time, and you don't need to get there absolutely straight away, but that's what you should be building up to. And as a minimum, I would probably say about 0.7 grams per kilo. So if you're 80 kilos, you shouldn't really be dropping much lower than 120-ish sort of grams of protein. Now, the other thing that sort of goes hand in hand with this is you're going to have to do some form of food prep. And I know that can give people the fear sometimes, because what they imagine in their head is either seeing like a million different tubs of Tupperware all laid out with like chicken, broccoli and rice in it, and you've got to prepare every single meal that you ever have over the course of a week on Sunday. Or they see all these mental chicken fucking wrap videos that go viral on TikTok, recipes with 18 million different ingredients that not a human being on this planet has got time to make all the time, and they think food prep,
Get the fuck out of here.
no thank you, I ain't doing all that. But when I talk about food prep, what I really mean is it's got to be food that you're preparing yourself. So first of all, you're getting in proper food and ingredients, and not just all the extra shit that comes from, you know, going and getting takeaways and Greggs and McDonald's and that type of thing, because that's obviously not going to be calorie friendly at all. It's not going to be high in protein, and you're just going to get a whole bunch of empty calories that leave you not very full. And preparing your own food is going to be the only way that you actually know what's in the food you're eating, in terms of the macros kind of side of things, and then also the calories as well, which is basically the same as the macros. Now, you don't have to try and be like Chef Ramsay or booty ass fake titty TikToker gal that you see makes all the fucking recipes. Like, it just has to be food that you're literally going to the shops, putting in an air fryer or a pan or whatever, and then eating it. And however you do that is up to you. It can be a full week's meal prep at once, you can do it half a week, you can just kind of double up on portions when you're cooking stuff, so you've got something for your dinner and maybe lunch the next again day. But just as a general rule, if you leave the house in the morning and you're expecting to go in every shop, cafe and restaurant and takeaway, and they're always going to have the exact training food that you need at that moment in time, then you're just pissing in the wind. Make sure you always have the food that you need on hand, ideally prepared, if not too far away from being able to prepare, and it's going to make your life a hell of a lot easier, and you're going to get so much more success than just winging it and just eating out, eating crap. And it's also going to save you a whole bunch of money, especially in today's day and age. Now, the final thing that you're probably going to have to do, and this covers elements of training, nutrition and outside of the sort of gym stuff, is tracking. Everybody will track different sort of metrics. Some of them will be more appropriate to some people than others, and that's totally fine. And you don't have to track every single thing, but you are going to have to do some sort of tracking to make sure that you are going on the right track. I feel like that was a bit of a pun there. In the gym, there's only one real thing that you need to track, and that is your weights, and making sure that you are progressively overloading and not just like trying to remember offhand what you did the week before, or just taking a guess or putting random numbers on. It can also be beneficial to track your form and take videos and do form review and that type of thing, but that's a little bit less essential. Then when it comes to outside of the gym to help your physique, you're going to have to do either one or a combination of weigh-ins, pictures, food tracking. Doing all three would be the gold standard, but if there's something that you're not massively keen to do or not massively bothered about, as long as you're doing one or two of the others, then you can still make things work. So for example, if you're not that bothered about tracking your food and you feel like that's something you're not willing to do, you're going to have to make sure that you're tracking your body weight and taking some pictures to make sure that what you're doing is moving you in the right direction. If you're not that keen on taking pictures, then again, you're going to be able to use the scale as your main metric, or vice versa. You don't need to weigh yourself, but you use your pictures as, again, a measurement to make sure that you're moving in the right direction. Then when it comes to your food, and I know this is probably the most contentious one with people where they can't be bothered tracking your food. I'm not saying it's an absolute thing that you must do, but by not tracking your food, it's a bit like playing football, but only ever taking shots from outside of the box.
It's a bit of a weird analogy.
Yes, you can still score and get success, but you are making life a hell of a lot more difficult rather than working in the box, getting closer to goal, and then the odds of success. The XG, as all the little geeky gimps say these days, goes massively up. Does XG go up? I don't even fucking know. It's a load of bullshit, but that's a video for another day. If you track your food, you're going to give yourself close to a certainty of staying within your calories, getting your protein in, and obviously moving the scale and your physique in the direction that you want. And again, some clients that come in don't want to do that, and that's totally fine. And it just comes back to that setting expectations about, well, this is what it's probably going to mean. And that's totally fine, and that's up to them. And it just comes back to setting that expectation accordingly. And as long as they're happy and they don't turn around in a few months' time and be raging that they've not lost as much weight as they thought, when they've just made their chances of success limited by not adhering to their tracking. And apart from your weights in the gym, which should really be done every single time, you don't have to like do the food tracking and weigh-ins and stuff like every single day. Like, you can just put limited tracking in maybe 4 days a week, 5 days a week, so you're covering the majority of the week. Pictures, I would normally say once a week. Doesn't need to be that, it could be once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month. And it's just putting something in place for you. So I know this whole thing was meant to be about non-negotiables, and I've just tangented off and give you a whole bunch of negotiable things, but I'm going to finish off on the real non-negotiable thing when it comes to coaching, and above all sessions and tracking and food and all that type of thing. There is one real thing that I say to everyone, that if you're going to sign up to coaching, I'm expecting you to do this because it takes no time, effort, skill, intelligence, nothing. It's just a case of making sure that you do this one measly day a week. And that is doing a check-in with your coach, because again, if you're paying somebody who's meant to be trying to help you and you're not actually giving them any feedback and letting them know what's been going on, what's coming up, if there's any struggles, anything the coach has got to consider, then it makes my job so much harder. And it's really hard for me just to have like data in front of me and just have to draw conclusions from that. And yeah, obviously I can get a lot of them right just from the data, but there's going to be loads of things that I don't know and loads of things that I won't be able to consider. And again, when you're signing up for coaching, what I ask everybody for is a check-in once a week, ideally a video or a voice note. It can be as little, under 1 minute, or as long as it needs to be, depending on what's going on. And even at the bare minimum, if you're busy, if stuff's come up, if for whatever reason you can't really be bothered going into full detail for a check-in that week, even at minimum just a wee text saying everything's good, I'm standing by for my further instructions, and at least that way I know that, right, okay, cool, I can just take everything at face value here and go from there. And I'll make it clear to everyone before they sign up that coaching isn't just plans and piss off, it's communication, it's us working together, me supporting you and guiding you through. And doing a check-in once a week, I don't think, and on the same day every week by the way, is not too much to ask for. I do calls as well, but again, I don't force calls on anyone. They're there if people want to book them, and obviously if I think something is worth chatting over the phone, then I would suggest a call. And once again, it's not forced on anyone, but a bare minimum should be a check-in once a week. So just bear that in mind. If you're thinking about signing up with me or somebody else, I don't know why you would sign up with anybody else, because obviously I'm the man, and the coaching inquiry form is linked down below. Give that a little fill out, very simple questions, take you 2 minutes, and then I can get back in touch with you, and then we can have a little bit more detailed chat about things, see where you're at and see if we're a good fit to work with each other. And hopefully if you've watched this video and you're considering coaching, you'll kind of get the gist of what is expected of you and how we can do things. And obviously if you just go on my Instagram, on my website, and see the wide variety of clients, they all do things differently. Some of them have got higher expectations than others, and that's cool. I'm just here to work around your parameters, but you just need to make sure that you're going to work around the bare minimum expectations that I set. I think I'll leave it there, and I'll catch you soon.